Hi everyone, my name is Daniel. Welcome to Just One Truth. In this channel, Just One Truth is about trying to get to the bottom of all spiritual things that are happening in the world. How to understand them, what is actually going on, what are people seeing, and how do we understand that today? And I do that without using the ghosts, the goblins, demons, angels, gods from antiquity. We use what we know today. Let's get started. In this video, I want to talk about what it means to wake up. What is a spiritual awakening? There are lots of videos on this, a scary amount. And I've watched a good number of them, and some of them are very difficult to watch. Some of them are very wrong. I'm going to tell you right up front, they would tell you the same thing about me or anybody else out there, that they're the only one that's right. I won't say that I'm the only one that's right. Eckhart Tolle, he's right. Go listen to his material. There are other people that are right there too, but I'm going to do my version because it's a part of my story. I had to go through this, and I'm telling my story, and so it's going to come out this way. And I also do things a little bit differently than other people. I really question beyond kind of the norm. I like to find the end of people's knowledge. As soon as they say, shut up, you just have to have faith. You need to, you need to figure it out. Wake up. I guess that's the point. You realize you just reached the end of their knowledge, so you move on. That's what I've always done. And what you're going to hear is where that got me. In order to talk about an awakening, you first have to talk about sleeping. You have to go from one place to another, and we start out sleeping. Awakening happens in different ways, but let's just go right from the beginning and start off with being a child. When you are born, you have the potential to be any kind of human that you could possibly be, whatever your genetics are going to allow, and whatever your environment. Moreover, what the convictions that you hold in your mind create. When we're born, we have some basic functionality. Your brain will cause you to develop, your heart to beat, breathing, all your functions, your normal biological functions are being controlled by the brain. Those are happening in the background. There is different structures in brains that are going to determine whether someone is more optimally fit to be an engineer or a philosopher or something like that. You've got your introvert, your extrovert type people. There's a lot of variation in the human population. We're created equal in our potential, but we are all different. Everyone is different. Beyond that, what we get is our conditioning. That is when we begin to learn as we get old enough, as we develop enough in our brains that we can actually start remembering and start formulating thoughts and doing things at the age of 3, 4, 5 years old maybe. That at that point in time, what you're being told and what you believe, what you store away with conviction is wiring your brain. You are going to become and believe what you are being told. There can be some variations. There are times kids grow up and just tell one of their parents up yours. You know, I'm not doing that. That can happen too. But by and large, people are going to start out life as programmed automatons in life. Here is what you believe. Here is what your religion is. Here is how we do things here in this household. Here is how we treat those people. Here is how you become all of those things. You could be raised in a different home. You'd become something different. Think about that. Starting back where we were, though, you become a product of your environment and the conditioning. But moreover, you become what your convictions store in your brain. You and somebody else might have an identical experience. One of you is hurt by it. One of you is not. That's the issue right there. How do you store it? Not what happened. How do you put it away? That's important. That is what we grow into. That is what we develop into. The more we grow, the more we have these experiences, that is who we become. We become a combination of those experiences and all of the other things inside of our brain that they network with. So it's a little more complicated than just being a product of your experiences. There's a lot that we bring to the table from other life. Anyway, so that's happening at first. We grow up in life and this happens to us. And for some people, it's fine. It's a non-issue. It depends on how you were raised. Were you raised being told you can believe what you want? We want you to do good. We want you to love others. Or were you raised to think, yeah, those people are wrong. You're right. They are wrong. They are bad. They're the wrong color. Something. What are you learning? You are going to become that. And then we live life, and we live life experiencing life on those terms. Now, there's a lot of times where it doesn't make sense. You're off on your own. Maybe you're fishing or doing something, and you're making the choices. You're out there by yourself, and you would say, yeah, that doesn't apply to me. But then in life, you maybe are responding in traffic to somebody that cut you off, or just in life, different things happening, watching the news, watching politics, watching protests, watching different things that are happening. And it's not all bad. Space launches and other things too. There's a lot of good things that happen. But as you live life and you view life and you see something, you respond and you react to it based on this processing that you have going on up here and what you've stored. And a lot of times that's very benign. But in cases where it becomes emotionally something that is no longer good, something that is shameful, hurtful, angry, anything like that that goes from, we're having a good time to up yours, buddy, or something like that, there's a change that's been made right there. And the person would say, I would have said at one point in time, I made that choice. I am in charge. I got angry at him because of what he did. And therefore, that person and their action is the mechanism of my behavior. I am simply responding and reacting to them. And that would make sense. People would say, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. This is being asleep. It doesn't seem like it. It feels normal. But what you don't realize at some point is that when you are responding, when you're reacting, you are responding and reacting based on processes that you have stored away. What is being drawn out of your mind to react is something that somebody else might not do. There's people that can handle it differently. There's people that will escalate it. There's people that can de-escalate it. What do you bring to the table? When something is happening and you react to it, it's in charge. You are not in charge. And there's actually times where that is actually desirable. It's preferable in an emergency situation or something like that where you need to react and not stand back and figure it out. Drowning or something like that. Everybody's got to jump into action. I don't know. There are times where jumping to action without thinking is exactly the proper thing. What I'm talking about is the reactions to people and the situations that create collisions, spiritual collisions, this feeling, this anger between people that they have. And it's a physical thing, but you feel it at a deeper level. So it's not just a couple of people bumping into each other, people bumping into each other and then spending the next 3 or 4 hours thinking about it and what they want to do next time, That's not being awake. That's being asleep. Awake, I'll tell you my story real quick. I told it in some earlier videos, but there's a point in time in my life. I was in my mid-30s and I was at wit's end and I had a really bad thing happen. And I ended up being told by the police officer who arrested me, give me your belt and shoelaces so you don't hang yourself. And my life kind of started out with the hanging of my brother when he was little. And this was like a big full circle thing coming to me. It was my whole world crashing around. And I can remember just taking some time at home and thinking, and I don't know why this occurred to me, but I started thinking through my life and all the places I've been, where I was and how it went. Then I moved somewhere else to start over and it went the same way eventually. Then I went somewhere else and I kept doing that and I realized, God, everywhere I go, people suck. It always is this way, except for this one time. I don't know why, but for some reason, this one time it occurred to me that there was one thing in common with every one of those failures. I was there. I don't know why that occurred to me, but it didn't help me right off the bat. It just made me go, oh my God, is it me? And that's as far as I got at that point in time. It took a while for me to continue to figure things out. I didn't have an instruction book. I had to keep like grabbing bits and pieces along the way. But eventually got to the point where I realized, yes, it is the things that I store inside of me. It is my experiences. It is what I have inside of me. And that as people around me are acting out in ways that trigger me and I'm getting pissed and the relationships are collapsing again, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. But it's not just me, it's them too. We all belong to those situations. You're the one that wakes up that says, whoa, I see what's going on. I'm in a cycle here. I'm casting off and leaving that port. Yeah. When you see that, that's the awakening. When you realize it's you. The things that, start off with the light of your soul radiates through the blah, and it goes off, and, they're wonderful teachers and people. When you question them, well, what can you do with that? Well, you radiate light. What does that mean? I don't radiate light. I get the metaphor, but explain it to me. I don't know your metaphor. I don't know what you have nested in there. Let it go. Let what go? You realize at some point, boy, I'm not quite getting the details I need here. This person doesn't know, number one. And number two, they're a nice person, but what they're doing is handing flowers from their garden. They're not really teaching you how to awaken. Awakening is realizing that you are a product of the choices that you made to judge things. That's why you're not supposed to judge. You cease to become all of that. Yeah, that's waking up, realizing that the world experience you're having isn't because of the world. It's because of this. But once you awake, now what? I know. All right. See you in the next video.